Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Indigo here. Hope you're having a good day or a good night, whatever time it is when you watch this video. Okay, let's get into a reading for the collective. I think I'm gonna start reading channeled messages first. I'm trying to remember what book I used to write them in. But the first one, okay, it was talking about, judgment. Okay, so you know how like they say like we are all born in the image of Christ, like we all have Christ within us, right? And I was thinking about like people, how they say like, oh, it's not your responsibility to judge, but everybody like literally fucking judges everybody. And I was thinking about what makes something like a proper judgment, and then what makes something like not a proper judgment, or what makes something like a divine judgment, and what makes something a like lower vibrational judgment. And I wrote down what I wanted to say. Right? Judgment is for the Lord, yet everyone feels the need to judge. The ability to make considered decision or come to sensible conclusions. The mental ability to understand something from an opinion and reach a decision. Okay, I feel like a lot of opinions are surface level, based in like demonic energy. And when I say demonic, I'm just meaning like the devil. When we think about the devil card in tarot, like it's based on the material realm. It's not based in the spiritual. It's based on everything that you can touch, everything you can see, everything that you can feel. Okay, material being like, bitch, you can touch this is material, you can touch this is material, right? And I feel like people have only been using their two eyes to see, to make a judgment on another person, when they need to be using their third eye when it comes to judgment. And the third eye, I feel like, shows you somebody's spirit, it shows you somebody's soul, it connects you with their intuition, which is really the divine speaking to you, right? Where it's like that sense of like, oh, you see somebody homeless on the street, right, and they're eating out of a garbage can, like you could judge them and be like, ew, that's gross, right? Or the judgment could be like, oh my god, like they're eating out the garbage can because they probably haven't ate today, they're homeless, like I have a snack, like let me give it to them since I have more snacks at home, kind of energy, right? I feel like judgment should be used to like make a positive impact in people's lives, and like give them a helping hand, or just be of support to them, instead of judging someone to just throw like a negative projection onto them that is really a reflection of yourself, and maybe how it is that you were taught to think, or how you were taught when you grew up. Like, I don't know, I just think it's weird. Like, that's why I kind of don't like the whole online dating thing, like the whole like swipe left or swipe right, right? Like you're judging someone's personal appearance, and like you're judging like 3 or 4 sentences that somebody posts in a bio to see like if they're worthy enough for you to go out with them, right? And like it's funny because like a lot of the times when people who like find like true love, like real love, like love that is of a higher vibration and not just of a material sense, right? I feel like, or a physical sense, right? I feel like that love always comes with like these exceptions of like, oh, I said I would never date a person like this, or a person that does this, or a person that is like this, but like I don't know, like their soul, their spirit, like it feeds me, blah blah blah. I remember Shannon Bodie, I believe, made a video on how people were saying like never saying don't date for potential is bad advice, because it's the person's habits that make up for if the potential is going to come into fruition or not, right? It's like if somebody has the habit of, you know, constantly putting their best foot forward and trying new things, or trying new ways to accomplish a goal, or to, you know, obtain something that they want, like it'd be their dream or whatever, then you know that this person at some point is going to reach that point, but you do have to go through like trial and error. You have to go through a season of trying different things, and not just to see like what works, but honestly, that season of like trying and failing and trying and failing is the season that builds the character, and uh but really like test you to see like if this is what you actually want to do because this is something that you enjoy doing, or is this just something that you're doing because it's going to make you money, right? Like, I don't know, a test of character was a thing for me. So I felt like that was a really good topic for her to touch on. There's some other channel messages that I had that I wanted to share with you guys. I think I might just make this one about the channel messages that I got, because I have a lot of them, and I kind of just been sitting and writing and sitting and writing, and I figured that I could just, you know, upload them as we go along. I guess I probably should have went through it beforehand. Wow, is it really not in here? I feel like I have so many notebooks where I write down, and like sometimes I can't get to the proper notebook that I need, and I end up just writing it anywhere because I don't want to lose the thought. Something else that I feel like is good for this retrograde. Okay, acknowledge the wrong that was done to you so you can release it. If you continue to ignore the truth, you will never be able to face the true feelings you have associated with the situation, person, place, or thing. Okay, I feel like right now in the retrograde, it's like a lot of releasing, a lot of energy. Okay, I feel like a lot of people who went through very traumatic situations that required you to take more action than to be like in a feeling, bitch, I'm emotional, bitch, I'm crying, bitch, I don't know what the fuck to do, bitch, this shit hurt. Like, I feel like for a lot of my collective, like, we didn't have no time for that. Like, we just had to continuously tap into our intuition, continuously tap into our ancestors, you know, speak to the divine, and figure out how to move forward, you know, without being placed in a negative situation. And I feel like right now with this retrograde energy, it's bringing up a lot of emotion and a lot of feelings, so you can find yourself like having these really just emotionally heavy moments where you feel the need to be like extremely vulnerable and vocal about what it is that you're internally experiencing. Okay, and I feel like that's really good for you. That's something that you should allow yourself to go through, to purge out those energies, right? I also feel like there's a lot of so for my people that are like people that resonate with me, okay, a lot, and just have really good hearts and can't help but like, I don't feel like you have much to say to people outside of yourself when it comes to the past and things that you've experienced with them. Okay, I find that right now a lot of people are trying to give back in your energy to pretty much continuously wrong you, or to save themselves from receiving the karma and which it is that they dealt, by how it is that they chose to deal with you. And you can feel that, and it doesn't it's not affecting you in the way that you may have thought that it would in the past, right? Where it was like, oh, if this person reaches out to me, like, I'm fucking telling them about themselves. Like, they know not to fucking talk to me about blah, blah, blah. Like, you are really, truly at peace for what is. And I don't feel like you want to be brought out of your vibration of, like, happiness and peace just to, really stick it to somebody. Like, like, you're not fucking stupid, bitch. Like, I know what the fuck you're doing. Like, you don't have that energy involving the situation, because at the end of the day, you've already made peace and you've already forgiven. So you've already moved on. So I feel like this time period is just to really like acknowledge those feelings, like jot them down, like write them down on a piece of paper, girl, on however many pieces of paper you need, right? And then on this new moon energy, I feel like this is a time for like really deep cleansing, like throw it all into the black hole, right? And do like a burning bowl ceremony where you release all those negative thoughts, intentions. Like even do like some yoga practices to release certain tension in your body. I was getting the hip, like the hip area. I was getting like your upper shoulders, your like lower back, okay? And like stiffness in your arms and in your hands, okay? There's a lot of trauma that has been built up in your body from either physical experiences that you have with people, okay? For my people who have had to move around a lot and like you have brought shit with you, right? Just the soreness of constantly traveling or going back and forth, or just the constant movement, right? There's just a lot of energy that's in your body that needs to be released. So I feel like yoga would be really good for that, especially as you come into the new moon. So this new moon and full moon cycle, I'm gonna be doing like a little thing on here with you guys so we can like build like a little ritual with each other, okay? I also am gonna start a Discord group. I always go to other people's like channels and be like, oh my god, do you have a Discord group? And I'm like, bitch, just start your own Discord group. Like what are you doing? Like what are you doing? So we're gonna be doing some stuff, okay? Because I was never one to like follow moon cycles or anything like that. Like my intuition always just guided me to like do things at certain times, and I've always just kind of been like aligned with the planetary alignment and the planetary shifts and everything like that. Like all of my messages, literally, you can look at where the stars were, where certain planets were, and you can hear me talk about it in my readings, especially because I have Star Codes Astral Oracle deck that I would use frequently in the past, but I was always like on point with it. But now I want to be like intentionally on point with it, okay? Also, something I wanted to talk about: bruised ego, a state of emotional pain or injury that occurs when someone's self-esteem or self-worth is challenged or threatened, okay? Upsetting you because it makes you feel less valuable or important. I feel like there are some feelings or emotions based around certain things that you enjoy doing, or certain ways that you think, right? Certain ways that you just are. And I feel like maybe in the past your ego had been bruised by people who didn't understand like how your mind worked in a sense, okay? And I feel like it bruised your ego to the point to where like you don't even want to think about the thing anymore. It's not even that you changed how you feel about the thing, it's like you literally changed even having a thought about the thing. And I feel like whatever the thing is, right, it's something that like is really just like close to your heart, something that you really enjoy doing, something that you love doing, something that you do for yourself, and you just kind of have stopped doing it. Like for me, I'll say it's been yoga. Like I haven't been doing yoga at all, right? And it's like, what is the bruised ego thing? I think, I don't know if the but well, I guess I could say. So we all know that when you do yoga, like I just talked about it, like it releases, certain trauma, certain tension from your body or whatever, right? So when I would do yoga, I would feel the release of that, but it would trigger like emotion. And like my ego was to the point to where like I didn't even want to feel emotion, so I didn't even want to trigger it to be released, so I just stopped doing it altogether. Okay, because I'm like, bitch, why are we still talking about this? Like, why are we still crying about this? Like, bitch, I don't have time for this anymore. But my brain was kind of still in that survival mode to where, like, it felt like, oh, if I allow myself to be emotional about this, it's gonna stop my forward movement. But really, is what is going to influence my forward movement. It's going to empower my forward movement. It's going to give my movement more meaning. And I feel like that is something that has to take place. Okay. For the collective, I do have a new channeled reading for Liam Payne that I'm going to be uploading. I think I might do it today. I feel like today would be a good day to do it. Because there's like a specific storyline that I keep channeling and I keep visually seeing it with my eyes. So I'm like, I have to talk about it, because if I don't talk about it, then my guys are going to be like, we keep giving you the tea and you're not talking about the tea. Like, we don't understand. Do you want the tea or not? And you guys always know I'm like, Spirit, what's the tea? Spirit gives me so much tea. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I have Egyptian oracle cards as well with the gods and goddesses on it. Okay. And this was a message that I got as well. But there's also a dream download too. No, that's the cord cutting. That's me. Okay, yeah, I had a dream about salmon, and there's this orange cat that always comes to the door, and I love him so much. But I had a dream that I was sitting on a chair in like this pond that was like really really low, like the water levels were really low, and there was like salmon in the water, and there was this older like white guy there was a hole, and he kept like poking his stick through it, and he's like, oh, there's something in there. And then when I looked down in there, like my eyes like had x-ray vision of like a skull, like bones. I could see like a skeleton or whatever. And I was like, oh, it's a, but my eyes were like playing tricks on me. So I was like, oh, it's a fish, like just stab it. And he's like, he looked at me, he's like, no. And he pulled it up, and it was a fish under it, but on top of it was orange cat, or vice versa. But it was an orange cat under it, and it was the orange cat that I love, that always comes over here. And there's just like so much salmon around us, and like I got the cat, and I was gonna let him outside the gate of the facility that we were in. But when I let him outside the gate, like a leash attached to him, and then he just wanted to follow me. Like, he just wanted to come with me. And I was like, oh, okay. But this cat like always acts like scared of me. Like, I actually feed him salmon, which is funny. But I like feed him, and he'll like run away from and be at a distance. He'll be like, meow, meow, meow. And he'll just be sitting there meowing, like looking at me put food in the thing. And then after I go in the house, then he'll come eat. But he always will like stare at me, like he'll stare me down, girl, for like hours. He'll stare me down. But he's very like aware of his surroundings. He's very like timid. He's very like shy and scared, and like it kind of reminds me of myself and my very fragile stages, and especially like we getting to know new people. I'm just like, oh girl, I don't know about that one. But anyways, so a mud devastation came out. I got forgiving and learning one another on the actual realms of what is and not just what something looks like. Okay, the evolution of lovers and the lifetime in which they reincarnated in. Your lover from a past life is new, and you must learn the them that they are now and what they had to overcome, okay, to be reincarnated is who they are. This is also giving me like a lot of people have, like, it's completely polar opposites. Like, bitch, maybe you come from above and maybe somebody comes from below, right? But it's like the darkness and the light within the two of you match each other. It's kind of like complementary energy. Um, but because of the trials and tribulations that you both went through, your darker nature sides and even your lighter nature sides trigger one another, that causes you to reflect. But it is kind of a feeling of fear to begin at first, because it's also like why is this person making me feel like this, to oh, this person isn't making me feel like this, I feel this way because of this that I experienced. And then it drudging up and bringing up things from the past, right? Amma is the one that eats the hearts right after Anubis judges it. And I feel like you could be dealing with somebody who's a heart eater. You could be dealing with somebody who's a heart eater. You could be dealing with somebody who's a heart snatcher. Like, they weighing shit in the underworld. Like, you could be dealing with somebody who's like, they work in the underworld and you work in the heavenly realms. And maybe they want to take you. They want to take you downstairs and you want to take them upstairs. And I feel like God is like approving both of the visits. Even the devil like is approving the visits. Like, you guys have approval from both ends. Okay, the job is understood, so it doesn't need to be explained. Basset, passion. Okay, somebody could be feeling less lovable because of what they are. Okay, a mutt is a beast considered to be, but is cherished by the Egyptian people. What may be unappealing and unattractive to you could be everything someone else was looking for. So it's like, it's giving me like those flaws or those insecurities that like you have about yourself. Like, that's the shit that like really like turns somebody on. Like, it makes them very, very passionate. Like, it makes them like want to be like super nasty towards you, and like not nasty in like a bad way, but they just want to like girl, nasty. It's giving like, yes, rated M for a mature audience only. Okay. Rewards and challenges, facing the addictions and bad health of yourself that affect your home life, giving and receiving of deeper knowledge on how to obtain finances through overcoming addictions and attention to love. That part I didn't really understand, but I feel like it's something about you working with like the things that you struggle with in your life are actually it's kind of like your community service in a sense. Like, you should always like, of course you have the thing that makes you money, right? But I feel like the divine is like wanting you to focus on how to give back to the community. And I feel like you have a lot of knowledge about something that it is that you experience and how to get through it or how to deal with it or how to manage it. And I feel like this is something that the divine wants you to share with individuals. It's like a teacher in a sense, okay? And this is like giving you a source of income, a new source of income, okay? Revisiting an old relationship with the intention of feeling the spark that once existed there, wanting to bring peace into an old relationship by creating new memories instead of talking about the elephant in the room. Why avoid the conflict? Someone running away from the truth in an attempt to avoid their shadow self. So in that dream that I was talking about with the Salmon, I was overviewing this couple, right? Like, this guy liked me, he wanted to talk to me, but he was like still entertaining his ex-girlfriend, which I think was his baby mama, right? And like, their relationship was like trash, but like I guess he kind of like subconsciously realized that like their shadow sides were like this, and that's why they got along with one another. But it's like when they would disagree, that's when they would butt heads. But it was like he was trying to talk to me, but he was still trying to entertain her. So I kind of just went in third person and third party, kind of energy. Not third party, but like third, like, you know how they say third wheeler. Okay, there we go. It's like I was a third wheel and I was watching their relationship from like the sidelines, right? Me and my cat and the salmon in the water, right? And it was like they would hang out, they would have a good time together, they were like making all these new memories, but there was still like tension and like dealing with one another because there is so much shit that they weren't talking about. And I feel like they weren't talking about it because it would require both of them to acknowledge their shadow selves. And it's like, oh, if I acknowledge the bad in me, then that means that I can't hold you accountable for the things that you do wrong. And that's not true. I feel like both parties have to be willing to hold themselves accountable for the wrong that they have implemented in their own lives and to one another, figure out where it stems from, where it comes from, and be able to have that open dialogue and that conversation. This is what will create like a flow within a relationship and remove blockages, because instead of ignoring it or suppressing the problem, you're bringing it all out, thus making room for new space to create new memories and not have that pent anxiety or energy of like, oh, like today was good, but I don't know if it's going to be good the next day because we still haven't talked about blah blah blah. Like, you just need to fucking talk about whatever the fuck it is. I'm getting Capricorn, water sign, energy, okay? The salmon spiritual meaning, okay, guiding us to navigate life challenges with unwavering determination, gain valuable insight from our journey, and discover the power of renewal, abundance, fertility, prosperity, renewal. Paying attention to your surroundings, holding back emotions could be stalling your progress. So the progress of this relationship could be being stalled by your inability to be open, okay? Somebody could also be pregnant. You could have got your baby mama pregnant again, girl. So that's for somebody. How your behavior affects those closest to you. Being mindful that your energy has an effect on others being mindful that your energy has an effect on others, and that communicating your feelings can help to avoid unnecessary misunderstandings. Don't be surprised when you don't get what you give, or you get exactly what you give. So you also have to be mindful of like the energy that you're receiving and why it is that you're receiving it. And the way that you be mindful of it is about what you're giving out, okay? You have to be able to observe, okay, the situation correctly, and not just from an ego standpoint, but from a standpoint that validates all parties and energies that are involved, okay? And I feel like that's the reading that I have, or that's the channel messages that I got for you guys. I'll be back with another reading. Bye.